Yes, today we are visiting Europe's largest Kiri wood growing region in the heart of Spain, near Talavera. I am standing here surrounded by 100,000 Kiri trees. This area is now also known as the green lung of Talavera, and I will take you straight to the cultivation areas and tell you why we chose this location and what needs to be considered when cultivating Kiri. Before selecting an area for Kiri cultivation, we first take a very close look at the soil conditions to ensure that the Kiri tree can reach its full growth potential at that location. In this case, we are dealing with sandy loam or loamy sand, which is able to drain water quickly during heavy rainfall, which is important and has a relatively high pore volume, but also has a structure that is able to store nutrients and water over a long period of time. When assessing soil for kiwi cultivation, it is important to look not only at the top 30 centimeters of topsoil, as in arable farming, but also to evaluate the deeper horizons. We usually dig a hole about 2 meters deep with an excavator and then record the soil profiles to ensure that there are no thick, impenetrable layers of clay or similar down there. And yes, the soil samples are then subjected to grain size fractionation, evaluated by us. And over the last 15 years, we have been able to gather so much empirical data that we can then say with complete reliability based on this analysis data, whether a soil is suitable for a caribou tree to develop its full growth potential. Once or twice a year, we mechanically work the soil, usually alternating 1 year with a cultivator to a depth of approximately 20 centimeters. The reason for this is that we can then work the organic matter from the leaf litter into the soil, thereby activating soil life, aerating the soil, and on the other hand, effectively counteracting the spread of mice, which are harmful to trees, for example. And that the following year we go over the area with a disc harrow to keep the soil loose and prevent excessive growth. Now at the end of September or beginning of October, we can already see the first autumn leaves on the ground. The leaves of the Kiri tree decompose very quickly, meaning that they are also converted into humus very quickly by soil organisms. Over the years, we have taken annual soil samples from all of our cultivated areas in order to determine the proportion of organic soil matter as accurately as possible. And we have found that, especially from the stage at which we experience canopy closure on the cultivated area, soil fertility and organic soil matter increase significantly from year to year. Over the past few years, we have had very positive experiences with these tree protectors, which provide reliable protection during the very sensitive phase of the first few weeks of the plant's establishment, and then continue to effectively protect the trees from rodents, especially hares and rabbits, during the first 1, 2, 3 years of cultivation. The trees have now developed strong bark, which provides sufficient protection, so we will be removing the tree guards again. There are many factors to consider when selecting a location. Among other things, we look at historical climate data, in particular average rainfall and the distribution of rainfall over the growing season, and then decide whether to install additional irrigation. Here at our site in central Spain near Talavera, we have decided to install additional irrigation because we cannot expect any rainfall in June, July and August when it gets very hot in Spain. This means we need a different solution. And now I would like to go into detail and show you what kind of irrigation system we use here in Talavera. What is striking about this area is that we cannot see any irrigation hoses above ground, which is because we have laid the drip hoses underground here. Here I have just gone to a spot where you can see moisture penetrating from below to the topsoil. In the year of planting, we laid drip hoses very close to the trees. One on the left side of the row of trees and one on the right side. And after the trees had established themselves, as soon as they had reached their deep root system, we pulled the hoses a little to the side and laid them underground at a height of about 30 to 40 centimeters. Over the last few years, we have learned that the way we irrigate can also have a significant impact on root growth and thus on tree growth. Our experience has shown that we can provide excellent support to trees by watering them less frequently but for longer periods. This enables the water to seep slowly deep into the soil during the extended irrigation period, encouraging the trees to grow their roots as deeply as possible into the ground. The big advantage for us here in Talavera is that we don't have to draw water for additional irrigation during the summer months of June, July and August from wells, but instead have two large rivers at our disposal. One is the Rio Tajo, which is one of the three largest rivers here in Spain, and the other is the Rio Alberche Reservoir, which provides us with the water we need for the adjacent farmland via an irrigation canal. As we can see here, overhead irrigation is used in agriculture in this region near Talavera, as well as in many other parts of Spain. The irrigation water is applied via sprinklers, which naturally means that on particularly warm or hot days, a large proportion of the water applied evaporates and is wasted before it can even reach the root system of the crops. By using drip irrigation, laying the hoses underground and planting Kiri trees, which are very efficient in their use of water, we have been able to roughly halve our water consumption compared to previous usage on our cultivated land. Here we are in the plantation's pump house, from where the water is then distributed to the drip hose systems. Everything here is online, which means I can control all the individual sectors from anywhere in the world via my mobile phone. This ensures that the kiwi trees are supplied with sufficient water at all times.